The barbell back squat. So before we get into the movement of this exercise, let's look at the setup phase and the equipment needed to ensure we have a successful squat. So just like the conventional deadlift, we're gonna look at our footwear again. So making sure we have something with a nice flat sole. Something like a Reebok Nano, a Nike Metcon, Barefoot, or even Converse to make sure all of our pressure goes into the ground, therefore lifting the barbell up. Something like a trainer is not gonna be good to squat in because it's gonna throw us off balance a little bit. It's a big, bulky shoe, and a lot of our energy is gonna go to compressing that sole down. Then, making sure we have a barbell set up in a rack. We don't want to be picking this weight off the ground. We want to make sure we are clearing it from a rack using something like J-hooks, which hold the barbell. Now, to make sure our J-hooks are set up at the right height, we're going to make sure we have no weight on that barbell. I'm going to jump underneath and make sure that it is just correctly set up and falls out of the J-hook. So just at the bottom of that cup here, but falls below the top of the J-hook. So when we're done, we can rack it away nice and safely. Now, the setup phase for the barbell back squat. Looking at our hands first. Thumbs out nice and long, and for our first back squat, we can go to our thumbs to the end of the knurling. Now this might change, but for our first time around, this is just a pretty standard or universal position to get into. Then we're gonna wrap our thumbs around and squeeze the barbell nice and tight. Our head is gonna go underneath the bar. I'm gonna squeeze our elbows together to make a nice strong platform for that barbell to sit on, which should fall in your traps. So just enough behind your neck, and it should be really strong. It shouldn't be resting on anything bony there. Our hips are gonna be underneath that barbell. I'm gonna stand up nice and tall and pause for a second before taking 3 steps into our squatting position, which by now you should be familiar with after doing something like a goblet or a dumbbell squat. From here, take a big breath in and create brace in the stomach. So filling out our width of our torso and creating a nice tight tension, and then moving into our squatting position, which is just like any other squat you've done. Making sure your hips go down below our knees and that barbell falls across the middle of our foot at the bottom of the position, and then standing up nice and tall. Regain that brace, so big breath in, create that tension, making sure everything's tight, and then follow into that second and third rep. When you're finished with your squat, you simply walk it straight back into the squat rack, come down, and then leave the rack forward. It's a really good habit to get into, especially as that weight gets a little bit heavier.